So in this video we're going to be color grading our shot. So first of all, let's start with the plate, and then we can actually color grade that first, and then we can try and match the helicopter to the plate. So I'm going to right click on my plate and I'm going to go to Effects and Color Correction. Now here you've got quite a few different effects that you can use, such as the brightness and contrast, and you can use the curves adjustment, exposure, all of these things. So first of all, we're going to look at the curves effect. So just click on curves, and we're just going to try and give this shot a bit of contrast because it looks a bit flat. So on this curves effect, we're just going to draw a basic S curve. So just do something like that, just to get a bit of contrast in our shot. Something like that. And then I'm also going to add a tint effect. So right click on plate again, go to Effect, Color Correction and Tint, and that you can change from 100 to 0%. 100 will be completely black and white, and 0% will have no effect on that shot. So it looks a bit video-ish and very colorful and very kind of bright. So I'm just going to drag this up, let's say to around 20. That's looking a little bit better. And then I'm going to give it some more contrast. So let's just pull this down slightly, something like that. And yeah, that's okay for now. Okay, now we're going to add some color correction to our helicopter. So right click on your helicopter, go to Effect, Color Correction, and go to Curves as well. And you can actually just minimize these two effects at the top, the blur and the grain. Just click on those little triangles next to them to minimize them. And for the helicopter, we're going to also create a S curve. So just pull it down slightly and try and match it as good as possible to your footage. Okay, not too dark, something like that looks pretty good. And as you can see, the red and everything is a bit saturated on this model. So I'm going to add a tint effect as well. So right click on the helicopter, go to Effect, go to Color Correction, and then select Tint. Okay, we're going to bring this percentage down and again try and match it. So I'm going to bring it down to around 35, 36. Let's make it 35. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool, and we're almost done with our basic color grading. Then I actually want to create a vignette around both of these shots. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an adjustment layer. So right click, go to New, and select Adjustment Layer, and make sure that adjustment layer is above all your other layers, because an adjustment layer will actually affect everything below it. So let's rename that adjustment layer. So I'm going to click on it, press Enter, and I'm going to call it Vignette. So what we want to do is we want to create an ellipse mask on that layer. So right here at the top where you have your masks, I'm going to click and hold, and then I'm going to select the ellipse tool and make sure that your vignette layer is selected, and then you're going to double click on that ellipse and it will create an ellipse in that window. Okay, and then I'm going to right click on vignette and I'm going to go to Effect, and I'm going to go to Color Correction and to Curves, and then I'm just going to pull it down to make it darker. Obviously, we want to affect the outside area of the mask, so we need to invert our mask. So the mask under vignette, just click on it, and then next to it there's an invert button. So just click that, and you'll see that it will actually invert the mask so that we're only affecting the outside area. Okay, obviously we need to feather this mask quite a bit because you can see some very hard edges in here. So we're going to expand the mask, and let's change the feather amount to around 250. Okay, as you can see, that's looking much better. You don't have those hard lines anymore. And if we just switch this layer on and off, you can see the difference that the vignette's giving us. So let's just enable it, and then you can play with the darkness of this vignette. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit so it's not that dark, maybe something like that. Okay, I'm just going to RAM preview this. So I'm pressing 0 on my keyboard, and I'm just going to fast forward through this rendering process. Okay, so there we have a preview. It's looking pretty cool. As you can see, I only rendered the first section of my timeline because of that little slowdown at the end, which is a bit weird. But as you can see, the color grading is looking cool. The vignette is actually working. We've got some noise on the helicopter if you look really closely, and a bit of noise in our footage as well. Obviously, that's from the camera. So all in all, it's looking cool. Yeah, so that's your final shot. And using this technique that we followed during the course, you can create so many different possibilities in the visual effects world. You can create any object and then integrate that into a live action scene, have your shadows interacting with your live footage, all of that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And in the next video, we're going to be looking at how to render this out. Cool, and I'll see you in the next video.